kitchen with the Parisian Hostess. I'm so excited that you're joining me. I love to cook, and today I'm going to show you how to make rosemary creamsicle almond biscotti. Ooh la la! So let's get started. The ingredients that you're going to be needing, I'm going to list them right here on the screen, but I'll show you. We're going to have flour, we need some sugar, we need baking soda, butter, almond extract, eggs, an orange rind, and then some almonds, as well as a rosemary essential oil and a creamsicle blend essential oil from the Parisian Hostess, which I will put the link to that at the end of the video. Are you ready to get started? Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. So you always want to do that first before you start to mix up your ingredients, because that way when you're done with this, you can pop it in the oven. So the first thing that we're going to grab is I'm going to grab my mixing bowl here. And these are my little vintage mixing bowls. I always love to collect really old vintage kitchenware and dishes, and I don't keep my china in the cabinets. I actually use them because it's way more fun. So the first thing that we're going to add is we're going to add 2 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour. So we're going to put that right in there. The next thing that we're going to use is a cup of sugar. The sweeter the better. And then we're going to have a little bit of salt. We're going to do about 3/4 teaspoons of salt. So I cook a lot, so I just kind of know what 3/4 teaspoon. I'm using a sea salt right here, and I just grate it right in there. So that's the salt. And then with our dry ingredients, we're going to actually add one last item, and that is our baking powder. And we're using 2 teaspoons of this. So I'm going to sprinkle that right in there, and you can see we're going to mix that up. So always you want to mix the dry ingredients first. Though for me, I know some recipes will say, oh, add the dry ingredients, then fold the wet ingredients in. I don't know. I'm a messy cook. My stuff ends up tasting good in the end, so however you make it doesn't matter. I always like to say, a messy cook is a good cook. That means you have passion in the kitchen. All right, and then we're going to be adding all of our wet ingredients now. I have some butter here. We're going to be using 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to melt this in my microwave here. I'm going to do it for probably for about 20 seconds. And then the other items that we're going to be adding in here are going to be our almond extract, about 1/2 teaspoon. So I cook a lot, so I'm just going to measure that out right in there, 1/2 teaspoon. Here we go. And we're going to go grab that butter. Sounds like it's melted enough, so I kind of have it like a semi-melt right here. I don't want it too liquidy. So I'm going to pour that right in here. And then I'm going to grab some eggs and put that in here. And I really need to show you where these are. Okay, so I ran outside to grab my other ingredients. And this is where my chicken eggs come from. Here are all my little chickens. Look how cute they are. This is Frankie, and Frankie always likes to hoard the chicken eggs. So let's see, Frankie, what do you have for me? Oh, we got 1. We got 2 eggs here. Look at that, 2 farm fresh eggs, and here are the other 4 the other 2. So we get really nice eggs right here. Okay, let's get back to cooking. Well, now you know where my eggs come from. Let's go ahead and add these to our bowl. So we're going to add 2 eggs into our bowl here. I'm going to crack those in there. I'm going to throw those shells in. I really love the farm fresh eggs. If you can get chickens, you know, get chickens to have these eggs. I get about 9 eggs a day. And, you know, it's just really good for your body. The color of the eggs are much more bright and orange, as you could see. The eggshells themselves are a lot hardier. And if you can't get chickens, of course, because we can't all have the space for it, or are not living in an area where it's zoned, you can always go to a farmer's market, and that's a great place to get some really farm fresh eggs. So I'm going to start mixing my ingredients here. And we put all of our dry ingredients and our wet ingredients together. The only thing that we didn't add was our almonds, so we're going to do that after we mix this a little bit more. And we're going to go ahead and add our creamsicle essential oil. And this creamsicle is a lemon, lime, orange, grapefruit, vanilla essential oil, so you'll get a lot of great flavors in this. Plus, when you cook with essential oils and you put that in the oven, ooh, it smells amazing in the home. So we're going to add about 20 drops of the Creamsicle essential oil into this batch. And then I'm going to add my rosemary, which is also an essential oil. It's pure therapeutic grade essential oils. So this one is an organic one as well as the Creamsicle. So we're going to add about 5 of those because the rosemary is a little stronger, but it gives you a very nice nutty flavor when you are adding a rosemary to your citrus recipe here. So this is really good here. We do need to add, actually, let me put that there. We're going to add a little bit of the rind to this too. So I'm going to grab my grater and we're going to do kind of like you know, the smaller grates on here, and let's see if I could just grate it right on top. So for the grated orange, you want to do about 1 tablespoon, and you can have more and you can have less. It's up to you. I like to add a little bit more, even though this recipe calls for about 1 tablespoon of the grated orange rind. But this right here also gives you a very nice extra flavor. You know, you get it from the essential oils, but you get a little bit of the orange peel in there too, which makes it a little chewier. So that's really good. Yeah, and maybe I'll go for a little thicker grind as well, or a thicker grate. So I'm gonna just put that in here. And right now, citrus products are really good for you to be taking in because it has a lot of vitamin C, which is good for our body. Our body actually needs vitamin C. There's been doctors that have done lots of studies on using vitamin C and taking extra vitamin C because then your any impurities that come into your body will actually eat that vitamin C up. If you don't have enough, then it starts to eat your healthy cells. And those are some studies I had read about online when I was looking into being healthier using vitamin C. All right, well, I think we're good with this. I'm going to take some of the orange rind from the inside here, put that right in there. Perfect. All right, so we're going to be mixing this up now. Now, as you do this dough, because that's what it's actually going to turn into, it's going to be a dough. We're just kind of mixing it up like this right here. And, you know, make sure you wash your hands with soap and water all the time because you want to keep bacteria and viruses off of your hands, especially when you're cooking and using raw products like eggs. So I'm just mixing here, and in a little bit here I'm going to get in with my fingers. So this is actually a really fun recipe for kids to do too. I love cooking with kids. It's always great when you can teach, because the more the kids know, the smarter they'll be. Plus then if I don't want to cook, I can have them cook. Alright, so we kind of mixed this into kind of some lumpy kind of dough. So I'm going to use my hands now to kind of get it together a little bit better. I'm kind of just mixing it here. And if you like learning about cooking and using essential oils, I'll be doing more videos on making cocktails with essential oils and doing more cooking videos for desserts and other kind of appetizers. So if there's something that you'd like to learn how to make, then send me a message or make a comment in our videos, and I'll look to see if I can come up with a recipe if I don't have one already. Alright, so this is a good workout. Workouts in the kitchen. Alright, so we're mixing this up here. Yeah, and I really love the smell of the almond. You can really smell that almond extract. It's wonderful. And for me, I think my earliest memory of cooking was with my mom in the kitchen making waffles. And she always made this amazing waffle recipe using cardamom, which is a very Scandinavian type of spice. So for me, growing up, anytime I smelled the cardamom, I would think of my mom. So, you know, I'm sure we all have recipes that we smell or taste and it reminds us of when we're children. It's so great how food can give you memories and bring them back. All right, so we're getting in a dough, you can see here. So it's becoming more of a dough. And we're mixing it and mixing it. And the oven is now preheated to 350 degrees. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move to the next step here. All right, so we got kind of like a nice dough ball there. So I'm gonna move my supplies out of the way being a messy cook. Okay, so we did mix up this dough, but we need to put the almonds in too. So for the almonds, you're going to need about 3/4 cup. Now, if you don't have almonds, sometimes they're more expensive to get. You don't have to add the almonds in there, but I like to have them because they make my biscotti a little bit meatier. So it's not just about the flour in there. So I'm just taking a knife and I'm chopping up my almonds here to put in. So you're going to keep on chopping it just like this. And you can have large chunks, you can have medium ones or really fine. It's quite up to you. So I'm going to do kind of like a large, chunky almond, kind of crushed up like this. Mixing it up here. Chop, chop, chop. This is why I like, it kind of gets a little messy when you are chopping. I try to use a large surface so I don't make too much of a mess. But that's why the food processor sometimes works a little better, because then you won't have a lot of cleanup. So if you have dogs or children, they might be able to clean up the floor for you. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add these nuts. I'm about 3/4 cup. I think that's good there. And we're going to fold that into this dough mixture. Kind of mix that in there. It smells so good, I can't even wait. I want to have a cappuccino today. Maybe I'll have it tomorrow morning. Knowing me, my brain spins. But that's why I use essential oils. So I actually have an essential oil called Harmony, which is really good for you know, your brain if you're thinking too much and you need to calm down. Using essential oils like spruce and frankincense and lavender, you know, they've been known to really help reduce that, you know, anxiety and racing thoughts. So I like to use that in a diffuser. I actually have a diffuser running right here, and that has my creamsicle in there. So I have creamsicle that I'm smelling and then creamsicle that we're cooking with. All right. So I've got my biscotti dough here. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this into 2 pieces like this. And then I'm going to put that aside. And we're going to use a baking sheet here because we're going to be baking these into logs. So biscotti actually takes 2 times to bake. You have to bake the loaf and then you have to slice it. And then you're going to bake the slices. So it's quite nice because biscotti means twice baked. Okay, so we're kind of doing it into a log like this. So we have 1. Oops, and I'm making a big mess. Guess it's time to clean the house. All right, we're rolling this into 2 logs like this. And it doesn't have to be really neat. I always like a rustic cooking, you know, look to it because it just seems nicer that way. Okay, so we've got the 2 loaves for our biscotti, and I'm going to pop it into the oven at 350, so it's already been preheated. So we're going to stick that in here, and we're going to let that bake for about 25 minutes. Okay, what do we do in the meantime? Dance? And it's been cooking for 25 minutes. Let's see what we have in our oven. Make sure you're using a hand mitt. Use good kitchen safety. We're going to pull that out. Ooh la la, look at that. See how they expanded? It smells so good. So I'm going to put this on this wooden cutting board here just to kind of have a safe, secure countertop. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut these. See if you can see that. I'm going to get back so you can see that better there. So we're going to cut these at angles like so. And cutting each one of them, we're going to lay them on their side because, like I said, biscotti means twice baked. So we actually have to bake it 2 times. And these are going to be so yummy. I like my biscotti a little chewy. I don't like it very, very hard. Some people like it harder. And scooping that. I'm just using a regular chef's knife to do this. So we're cutting it again. And it's going to be a little uncooked in the middle, which is the way you want it to be. So we have to cook it the second time. And these look so delicious. Look at this. So we're just cutting the rest of these here. So we almost have our 2 loaves already cut. So nice. And oh, I forgot, we need to lower the temperature of the oven to like a 120, 125. Because we want to bake our biscotti at a lower temperature. So we're going to take these last few pieces here and we're flipping them up on their edge. Oh, it looks so good. It smells yummy in here. I had to shoo some people out of the kitchen when they smelled it and wanted to eat it. Tell them one more time it needs to go in the oven. All right, so we have our biscotti here. Some of it's a little messy, but that's okay because those are my pieces. All right, so we've got our biscotti here on our tray, kind of laying face up. And then we're going to stick this back into the oven and we're going to bake it for another 20 minutes. Well, the timer just went off and it's been in the oven for another 20 to 25 minutes. So let's see how they turned out. I'm gonna grab my oven mitt. Ooh, these smell amazing. Look at those. Well, there you have it. Nice biscotti made with rosemary essential oil, creamsicle essential oils, almonds. Oh, this is wonderful. Now, if you like your biscotti to be a little crunchier, then you can leave it in the oven a little longer. I like mine soft, so you can see from here how they're a little bit soft, but when they cool down, they'll firm up a bit, but I really like a chewy biscotti. So here's our biscotti that we made today. Thanks for joining me. I can't wait to have my cappuccino with my rosemary creamsicle almond biscotti. Till next time, au revoir.